In the silent, deep and unforgiving battleground of the undersea world, a navy that cannot hide is a navy that is already dead. By the 1980s, the People's Liberation Army Navy, or PLAN, was facing a crisis of obsolescence that threatened its very survival. The heart of its conventional submarine force, the guardians of its vast coastline, was a massive fleet of a single design, the Type 033, a direct copy of the Soviet Union's 1950s-era Romeo class. This was a profound and dangerous strategic problem. The Romeo was a relic, a noisy, technologically primitive submarine designed for a different age of warfare. Its hull was unhydrodynamic, its batteries had poor endurance, and its sensors were a generation behind. Against the new, sophisticated anti-submarine warfare, ASW frigates, helicopters, and maritime patrol aircraft being fielded by the United States, Japan, and other regional powers, the Romeo was not a predator. It was a target. It was a fleet of iron coffins. This was not a theoretical weakness. It was a gaping hole in China's national defense.
It is
The
time
plan's
to move
vast
beyond
fleet of
the
Romeos
past,
was a hollow
to forge
force,
our own path,
a fleet that looked
with an
impressive on
indigenous,
paper,
modern
but
submarine.
would have been systematically hunted and annihilated in the opening hours of any modern conflict. This left China's vital sea lanes, its coastal cities, and even its most important naval bases dangerously exposed to a modern submarine threat. The Dragon was blind and deaf in its own waters. This created a crisis of technology and independence. China could not simply buy its way out of the problem. It needed to learn how to build a modern submarine itself. But for decades, its entire submarine industry had been built around copying Soviet designs. They lacked the experience, the infrastructure, and the design philosophy to create a truly indigenous modern submarine from scratch. The technological gap was a chasm. To bridge it, China would have to take a massive, expensive, and incredibly risky gamble. It would have to abandon the familiar comfort of the Soviet model and forge its own path into the silent darkness. The solution was the most ambitious and difficult naval project China had ever undertaken. It was a national crusade to create a truly domestic second-generation submarine. It was Project 039, the Song class. This was not a copy. It was a declaration of independence, a vessel designed to be the crucial stepping stone between a Soviet-era past and a modern, superpower future. The Song class was a radical departure, a testament to a new design philosophy. First, the shape. The designers abandoned the crude boat-like hull of the Romeo and adopted a modern, hydrodynamically efficient teardrop shape, blended with a conventional bow. For the first time, a Chinese submarine was designed for underwater performance, not surface handling. Second, the senses. It was equipped with a new French-designed sonar suite, a massive technological leap that gave it the ears to finally hear the modern threats it was designed to counter. Third, the teeth. It was armed with a modern arsenal of torpedoes and, for the first time on a domestic Chinese submarine, the ability to launch the powerful YJ-82 anti-ship cruise missile from its torpedo tubes. The lead ship of this new class, hull number 320, was not just a new submarine. It was a floating laboratory, a high-risk gamble that would either be a spectacular failure or the first vital step in forging a new undersea dynasty. But the story of the Song class is not one of easy victory. It is a story of profound, painful, but ultimately triumphant perseverance. The proof of its story is written in its own evolution. The first boat, Hull 320, was a deeply flawed prototype. Its unique stepped sail created a huge amount of hydrodynamic noise, and it was plagued with so many technical problems that it was never truly considered a fully operational combatant. The gamble was on the verge of failure, but China did not give up. They took the hard-won, painful lessons from the first boat and went back to the drawing board. What emerged was the definitive version of the class, the Type 039G. The flawed, stepped sail was replaced with a conventional, streamlined one. The internal systems were refined and made more reliable. This was the final, successful form of the design. The ultimate proof of the Song's success was that it finally worked. China went on to build a fleet of 13 of these improved Type 039G variants. They became the workhorses that allowed the plan to finally retire the last of its ancient Romeo-class submarines. They became a constant professional presence in the East and South China Seas. And most importantly, they became the indispensable classroom. It was on the decks and in the control rooms of the Song class that a new generation of Chinese submariners learned the art of modern undersea warfare. They were not the perfect weapon, but they were the perfect teacher. The legacy of the Type 039 Song class is that it is arguably the most important submarine in modern Chinese history. It was not the best, but it was the first. It was the ship that broke China's crippling dependence on foreign designs and proved that its own industry could design, build, and perfect a modern, complex warship. The Song class was the painful, necessary, and ultimately successful bridge between the obsolete past and the superpower present. Every single lesson learned from the Song's difficult, 2-decade-long development process, from hydrodynamic design to acoustic quieting to combat system integration, was the essential foundation upon which its revolutionary successor, the world-class Type 039A Yuan class, was built. Without the troubled gamble of the Song, the stunning success of the Yuan would have been impossible. The Type 039 Song class is more than a submarine. It is a symbol of a nation's refusal to accept technological inferiority. It is a testament to the idea that the road to mastery is often paved with failure and perseverance. In the long, secret history of the undersea arms race, this troubled but triumphant vessel was the Dragon's indispensable first step into the modern world.